Veilalose t'amoven, de juices alas contra el rei, que s'oblidan laissas chasser per la doçor qualcun li vei. Eilas tallen veiamen ve, de quic jau veia Josium, meravillas ai car de ser. Cor de desire non fum. I'm a musician, obviously, and as a musician, I'm all over the place. I sing, I play, I studied musical composition, I studied language. I perform music in many different genres from the medieval age up until now. And what I love most is songs, because for me, in a song, all of these different worlds come together. The singing and the playing, the words and the music, this and this, I guess, too. And that's true for any song from any time, from any place. There are always these different layers of expression working at the same time. What I just sang for you is just the beginning, just the first verse of a much longer song that was written more than 800 years ago by a man called Bernard de Ventadorn, who was a troubadour. Not the kind of troubadour that you think you know from stories and movies, but a real troubadour, a serious artist and an accomplished musician. And he's subtle. If you look at the text of this first verse, we see that something is wrong with him, but we don't know yet what exactly. Later in the song, we learn that Bernard is lovesick. He's very sad, very frustrated, but he doesn't tell us about it yet, right now. Instead, he chooses to approach this sad emotion by first contrasting it with an image of pure, perfect, blissful happiness. He tells us that he sees a bird fly, a lark. The bird flies up and glides down and flies up and glides down, and Bernard imagines that this is because when the bird flies up in the air, it gets touched by the rays of the sun, and because of the wonderful warm feeling that it gets from this, it forgets to fly, and it falls down again. So this happens in this first half of the verse. In the second half of the verse, Bernard talks about himself. He's jealous of this bird. In fact, he's jealous of anything he sees, anyone he sees, that seems perfectly happy. Why he is jealous, again, he doesn't tell us yet, but we do see clearly that there's a contrast between, in the first half, the happiness of the bird, and in the second half, the poet's inability to be happy. This is also emphasized by the rhyme scheme we see. In the first half, the rhyme scheme is different than in the second half. The music is also interesting to look at. Medieval music works a bit different than later music. If you generally study a song, you would look at something like this. This is, well, not just any average song. This happens to be one of the best songs ever written, but now it's just an example. You can look at the melody, you could look at the bass, maybe other voices if they're there. You can examine the harmony, you can examine the rhythm, you can look at what instruments are used, or in more modern songs, what sounds and samples. With medieval songs, we have this to work with. Just one voice notated, no bass, no chords, no rhythm specified. Some notes are shorter than other notes, but there's no really specific notation of rhythm. So it seems we have a problem, But really we don't, because actually everything we need to know, the essence of this song, is all right there. The accompaniment that I just played on my harp, I didn't just make it up. I based it on everything that I found in this manuscript. Medieval harmony is not written down in chords. It's implied in the melody itself. As the melody moves from one group of notes to another group of notes, it's like you would explore one room after another. And you could say that in this song there are two main rooms. The melody starts like this. So you could say that this is our room right now. In the second line, he expands a little bit. So the room has gotten bigger. In the line after that, he expands again. So the room has gotten pretty big by now. In fact, the composer has used almost all of the 7 notes that you can use in medieval music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he uses the 7th last note to introduce us to the next room. So we have the first room, kind of light and spacious, and the second room, a bit more gloomy and melancholic. This is very deliberately done because the introduction of this last 7th note is done with a combination of notes, of 2 notes, possibly the most dramatic combination of 2 notes that you can have in music. It's called the minor second, and he places it right here to make a contrast between happy and sad, to put it very simply. Now, the interesting thing is that this moment, when he introduces this last note and the second room, is exactly on the word kur, which means heart. So the moment he makes a distinction between like the happy room and the sad room, also emphasizes the difference between the heart of the bird and the heart of the troubadour. I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too fast. I fall in love too terribly hard for love to ever my heart, it should be well schooled, 'cause I've been fooled in the past. But still, I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too fast. We've skipped a few centuries. We went from medieval music to jazz music. At least I try to play this as a jazz tune right now. This song originally was written for a Hollywood movie in 1944. And through time, it's become what they call a jazz standard. Now, it sounds completely different, But actually, there are strong similarities between the two genres. In both medieval music and in jazz music, improvisation is a very important thing. If you learn a new song, you don't really stare at sheet music. No, you look at different versions, you listen to different versions, you make up your mind about what is to you the essence of the song, and you translate that into your own version. That's how you do it. There's very little notated also in jazz music. If there's anything notated at all, you use your ears and you use your playing skills. Now, the text of this song, I don't think I need to explain it. It's quite simple, huh? There is, though, an interesting question. Is this serious or not? Is this like a sincere, regretful song, or is it, as we would say now, hashtag sorry but not sorry? In the music, there's sort of the same ambiguous thing going on, because we start again with a dramatic gesture. Again, the minor second is very dramatic interval full of tension, combination of tones. And we could go on like this. I fall in love too easily. Then it would be a very dramatic song about the inability to commit. But it doesn't go like that. It goes... So we have tension and immediately release. And the song goes on like this. Heavy and release. Sorry. But not really sorry. And later, drama. Or not. And this is how this song goes. Now, the words without the music would be charming little text. The music without the words would be a nice tune, something almost dramatic with build-up of tension, and then it goes meh. But together they really make sense to me. So in songs, there are always different forces at work at the same time. In both the examples that I used now, I talked mainly about melody and about a certain subtlety in the wording, but expression can lie in many different things. You can have it in the rhythm, you can have it in the use of chords, you can have it in the rhyme scheme. In rap music, you can have it in a rap flow, you can use samples and sounds to do something. So it's not about just one thing, it's about how you express and how you connect. Also, in both examples, all the expressions sort of pointed in the same direction. But again, that doesn't have to be the case. Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? The text really at this point is not dramatic at all. It's not sad. Later, it becomes dark, talks about using and abusing, but right now it could be a love song. Sweet dreams are made of this, who am I to disagree? But the music is already very dark, and that's what makes it interesting. So the cliché of 1 + 1 is 3 is really true for music, for songs, I mean. And a song to me is not just about what it's about. It's not just about telling a story or expressing an emotion. It's not just about sharing beautiful music or letting people hear the sound of your voice. It's certainly not just about providing entertainment for your audience to passively enjoy. A good song, for me, is about making connections between these different layers of expression, and by doing that, creating a unique perspective. And it's the job of the artist to engage the audience to experience this perspective together.